Roses are red, violets are blue. Shoe me one in a Ferrari, so Sir Lewis Hamilton can too, can't he? Well, this was his first day and it got techier than techie things. Let me take a step back for a second and set the table, because there are very many F1 muggles in the F1 community that said that this day would never happen, that Lewis Hamilton was a company man. Take him at his word. He said that he'd be at Mercedes for the rest of his career in F1, notwithstanding him also saying that part of his dying wish in F1 was to drive the red car, to take after Michael Schumacher, to do what Ayrton Senna, his hero, never had the opportunity to. Well, how about now? F1 muggles, Mercedes stands. Because today you saw the first day of the rest of Sir Lewis Hamilton's life. A new day, a brand new day as far as Scuderia Ferrari. And I'll tell you something as much. The last time I felt like this about Sir Lewis and F1 more to the point was back in 2007. Silverstone settings. It felt like Lewis Hamilton, the driver that dude was and the person that he is, was a whirling dervish, an immovable force per se. He felt like a force of nature, and that's what it felt like today, was it not? Hairs on the back of my neck as Lewis Hamilton walked into Maranello. What are we doing here, ladies and gentlemen? For F1 and Scuderia Ferrari and Lewis Hamilton, this is gangbusters. You can't even write it in an F1 book, for they wouldn't believe you. Lewis Hamilton rocks up and he's taking pictures with all and sundry as far as key stakeholders at Scuderia Ferrari. We're talking team principal Fred Vasseur. We're talking John Elkann, CEO and son of Enzo Ferrari, Piero. What are we doing here? What a way to embrace a champion, a 7-time champion in Sir Lewis Carl Davidson Hamilton. Unless we forget that, as near as makes no difference, every breath that's come out of Fred Vasseur's mouth has been to this effect: we won't make special dispensation for Lewis Hamilton. Well, that today was nothing if not special dispensation. You will have seen the greetings that Seb Vettel got. So too Michael Schumacher. And I tell you something now, it didn't look like that. In front of Enzo's house. Oh, and by the way, we're going to get techie, pathetic fallacy settings. Maybe this is me doing a pufferneer. 7 windows open, 1 door closed. What does that mean? You guys tell me. Pathetic fallacy, any? Portending future glory, any? 8-time unprecedented world record breaking champion, any? And then you get the photo. This is where it gets gangbusters. And I told you this before, did you not? We've spoken about this ad infinitum, that this would be something special, seeing Lewis rock up at Ferrari. Again, so cinematic that you could not write it in a book. They would not believe you. They don't make this extent of suspending disbelief. You get the photo then of Sir Lewis. Michael Corleone. Settings. Was that The Godfather, Marlon Brando, or was that Sir Lewis Carl Davidson Hamilton? For I could not tell. This is the level of cinema that we are talking about. Cinema just doesn't get this cinematic, does it? Sir Lewis Hamilton and Ferrari. Oh my goodness. We'd hypothesized before this day about the symbiosis of brand Hamilton and brand Scuderia. We couldn't begin to envision it would be this chaotic. You've seen the Instagram pictures and the retweets and engagement that they are getting. This is chaos. Oh, and by the way, then you get Sir Lewis Hamilton, not in the neo fashion. He's wearing a double-breasted suit of the black pinstripe variety. What are we doing here? This is too much. Kiss the ring indeed, Andre. This is just too chaotic for a Sir Lewis Hamilton fan. I can't even breathe. I'm watching it and my eyes are welling up as if there is something to cry about. Oh, and by the way, he's wearing red bottoms, Cardi B settings. These are bloody shoes. The one thing, if I were to critique Lewis Hamilton, were I a fashionista, why the bloody flares as per usual. One thing, if I were to nitpick, surely you do the tight trousers. This is Italy, Lewis, not New York Fashion Week. But that, ladies and gentlemen of the F1 jury, would be nitpicking. And then, by the way, you get the fans. The first interaction between Sir Lewis Hamilton and the fans. He then represents the second coming of Michael Schumacher, does he not? As far as the Tifosi, they look at him like he's a hero. You've seen the murals already of Pope Frederick Vasseur with saints either side, Charles Leclerc and Sir Lewis Hamilton. This is massive. We were warned that it would be huge, but no one could have envisioned it being this big. The Tifosi clamour around Lewis. Lewis uttered in Italian accents all the while. This, ladies and gentlemen, is chaos. And Lewis does as he should do, takes the time out for his new adoring fan base. Mercedes fans are no longer flocking to Maranello in their droves en masse. Mercedes who? Silver Arrows what? What colour was that car? Toto the boy who cried. Who is that even? You check Silverstone this year. All of those luminous yellow caps, they will be gonzo. It will be a sea of red. This is momentous, not just for Sir Lewis and Scuderia, but for F1. For a rising tide floats all boats. All eyes are now on F1 in a way that it would never have been. Drive to Survive generation now dialed in for the 2025 season entire, irrespective of how competitive or otherwise it is. Ladies and gentlemen of the F1 jury, this is gangbusters. And of course, on Wednesday, we see Lewis Hamilton in the car proper for the first time. He will have a steering wheel tailored to his need. The 25 buttons on there will be exactly as he asked for them at Mercedes. Redesigned the steering wheel then to suit his needs. And that, again, ladies and gentlemen of the F1 jury, has to mean something. I know Fred Vasseur has said that they're not going to tailor this to him, but they are left with no choice. On the back of today, on the back of the social media engagement, this is a black swan event, a tail event, an anomaly, if ever you saw one in Formula One. For Lewis Hamilton joining Scuderia Ferrari is gangbusters. The symbiosis of brand Hamilton and Ferrari, blimey, you cannot write it. You could not write it in a book because they wouldn't believe you. This is like the Kardashians arriving or something like that. That's the type of attention that this is garnering. And the FOM have to be licking their lips because they needed something like this. And that's not to say that Lewis Hamilton doesn't need to perform. Yeah, there was bad performance, underperformance last year. It was the car. It was the poor performance in qualifying. But this is pastures anew for Lewis Hamilton. Here's hoping, as hopes most of the F1 world and community, the fan base, Sir Lewis Hamilton fans, stands and naysayers alike, that for the good of F1, Sir Lewis can play his way into the crease at Scuderia Ferrari forthwith, in short order, because F1 will be a much better place for a Lewis Hamilton firing on all cylinders, post having eaten a little bit of pasta and drunk some Scuderia Ferrari red wine. It's gonna get techie. Stay tuned to Wednesday when we see him in the car for the first time in the red overalls, which have atop the yellow badge, which in turn have atop of it the black prancing horse. How do you like your F1?